Last night on Look East, we heard about a victim of domestic abuse and how she'd suffered in silence for years before she was murdered by her husband. It was part of an international campaign calling for an end to violence against women. Well, today at the Galaxy in Luton, survivors of abuse are sharing their stories in a unique way. Helen Mulroy has been to meet one of them.
The gifts you gave wrapped in barbed wire and shards have transformed into blessings I now wear on my heart.
For Nancy, journaling and poetry has been her way of processing and overcoming her past.
By the time I was 17, I had had 3 different incidents with 3 different men. I was molested when I was 8, I was attacked when I was 13. That went to court and he was found not guilty. And then I was raped when I was 17. It was a nightmare, really. I felt very desperate, very alone. And really, I was sort of told the only option was to just get on with it. But emotionally and mentally, I was really broken and I didn't know how to do that. So I just got quite angry and depressed and gave up on my dreams.
It's taken her 30 years to come to terms with what happened to her and rebuild her confidence enough to start her own business as a masseuse. She also volunteers for 9 Red, a social enterprise that helps victims of domestic abuse. And now she's lent her voice and her poetry to an installation touring Bedfordshire. Behind each door of the Look at Me Now Advent calendar are 25 stories of local victims of domestic abuse. It's the brainchild of Deborah Knight. Once a victim herself, she now works helping others. The aim of the calendar is to shine a light on victims and their suffering that's so often hidden behind closed doors.
I was a victim of domestic and sexual violence when I was a teenager. At the time, people perceived victims as broken, pathetic people who wouldn't amount to very much after that, and that perception's still around a little bit, but it's always this idea that they don't associate victims with professional people, victims with anyone that's in the public eye, any strong person. And we wanted to change that perception as well, to kind of educate people that if you think it's like 1 in 4 women, how many women do you know and what are their jobs, what are they doing? So it could be anyone.
The calendar's been on tour at locations across Bedfordshire throughout this week and will continue to do so until the 10th of December, where it will finally be displayed at Cranfield University.
Reaching as many as 1,000 people, it's hoped the calendar and its stories will encourage those who need to speak out, to friends, family and local services that can help, so more people will find their voice, like Nancy has.
I now walk the street with confident steps. Fear does not diminish my quest. For freedom to believe we can find a solution, a love warrior I remain in this love revolution.
And I'm with the calendar tonight. 25 doors, 25 stories. Nancy's story is here behind door number 11. It's here, it's home at the Galaxy for this week, every evening and every evening next week until the 10th of December. Well, I'm joined now by Jenny Bull from Victim Support. Jenny, this is a very public installation. Why is it so important to have stories like this in the public, right in front of people's noses?
Well, we know that 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men are affected by domestic abuse, some forms of domestic abuse in their lifetime. It can be really hard to acknowledge that it's happening to you, and it can be even harder to talk about it. But it really can happen to absolutely anyone. So the 16 Days campaign and the Our House installation is really important because it provides us with a focal point to actually start that conversation.
And you talk about starting that conversation. What if someone is watching our programme tonight and they think that they are identifying either coercive control or they're possibly in an abusive relationship? What should they do? What's your message?
I think the most important thing is to tell somebody what's happening to you. Find somebody that you trust, a friend, a family member, a colleague, a GP. If you're in Bedfordshire, then you're very lucky because we've got lots of wonderful services, so you can speak to somebody there. Failing that, if you've got nobody else to talk to, or even if you have, then there's a National Domestic Violence Helpline, which is 24/7, and the number is 0808 2000 247. So give them a call and start the conversation.
Thank you so much, Jenny. A really important message. As I said, the house continues to tour for the next week and until the 10th of December. If it's anywhere near you, come and check out these inspirational stories. Thank you, Helen.